Number 5. During a Steve Harvey episode of Family Feud between the Kruger and the Riley family, the question posed was about which food should be considered the national food of America. The Krugers won possession of the board, and the father of the Kruger family, Ron, gave steak as his answer and add potatoes as an afterthought.
I'm going with steak.
Steak. Man, that's steak and potatoes, right?
That answer was not on the board. Then his son Jeff suggested French fries as an answer, only to be told by the host Steve Harvey that his dad had made potatoes part of his answer, which meant French fries couldn't be given.
So I'm going to go French fries.
Can't say French fries because your dad said steak and potatoes.
Jeff's alternate answer, spaghetti and meatballs, was not on the board, and so the Riley family got the chance to steal the points from them, and what happened next was simply bewildering.
Ingrid, what do you think it is? Give me a food you think ought to be chosen as the national food of America.
French fries!
Steve's face says it all, but bewildered he obliges, and French fries appears on the board, allowing the Riley family to steal the points, which they would later use in going on to win the game. There was some outcry in relation to the Kruger family being cheated out of the points, some even going so far as to accuse the show of favoritism, but why this was allowed to pass has never been clarified by the show's producers. Number 4. In an episode of Jeopardy Kids Week, contestant Thomas Hurley III was left in disarray after the judges ruled against him for misspelling the word emancipation, adding an extra T, making him lose thousands of dollars in Final Jeopardy even though that was technically the correct answer.
Well, because he misspelled it badly. Emancipation. You put a P in there. Proclamation. That's unfortunate. The judges are ruling against you.
The story made national headlines as many people called into question Jeopardy's methods for determining what constituted an error and what did not. Jeopardy released a statement shortly after the show that the show would not accept any incorrect response, however minor, even though numerous times in their show's history, contestants who had misspelled words had to have their errors let slide. Many saw the difference being that the sort of answer was phonetically correct, but that all still contradicted Jeopardy's statement. Some spectators also took issue with Alex Trebek's, quote, smug manner when announcing Hurley's loss. Ultimately, though, the controversy boiled over since people realized that even if Hurley had spelled the answer right, he wouldn't have won, as he simply hadn't accumulated enough money over the course of the game. Number 3. $1 Million Money Drop was a game show on Fox in which players had to put money on which answers they thought were right and then lose all the money that they placed on the incorrect answers. In one 2010 episode, contestants Gabe and Brittany were faced with the question of which product was sold in stores first. Torn between the Walkman and the Post-it note, the couple eventually played $800,000 on the Post-it note, but had all that money taken away from them after it was revealed that Walkman was the correct answer. Unfortunately, Walkman was, in reality, not the correct answer, as the Post-it note was, in fact, sold in select cities a year before the Walkman was. A public uproar against Fox ensued, and the network offered to give the couple a second chance, but starting the game again. Similarly, another couple sued the show for $580,000 after they claimed to have had another faulty question, this time over what the most common internet password was, which they claimed was measured inaccurately. No wonder the show got cancelled the very next year. Number 2. Charles Ingram was a British Army major who became world famous for his attempts to cheat on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Ingram managed to get to £4,000 having used already 2 lifelines before his episode time was up, and nobody between episodes expected him to last much longer. However, Ingram came back with a new strategy. He would enlist another failed contestant on set, named Tequin Whittock, and his wife Diana, to cough whenever the right answer was read out. Ingram, on each question, would pore over the answers and read them all out repeatedly, and wait for a cough signaling that the answer he picked was correct, and he managed to make it all the way to £1 million because of that.
I think I know. I think it's a Google.
It's there.
I'm going to play Google. Yeah.
Final answer.
Final answer.
God.
Please don't go for a break. Please do not go for a break.
You just won $1 million!
The host claimed Ingram was the most amazing contestant they've ever had, but Ingram was given a phone call shortly after, claiming irregularities in the episodes, and he and his co-conspirators were sentenced to fines and short jail terms. Whittock, who had coughed during the episode, claimed to have had a cough for all of his life, but was picked to see on the hot seat straight after and had no coughing difficulties during his run. Ingram has since become famous all over the world for his cheating efforts, and has appeared on other shows, such as The Weakest Link with his wife Diana. His episode was never aired, but was shown in a BBC documentary called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Major Fraud. Number 1. It is one thing for a contestant to manipulate a game show or a game show to cheat a contestant, but the 1950s American quiz show 21 was controversial on another level entirely. The show's initial broadcast was the only one taped under honest, spontaneous circumstances, but the producers and the sponsors were unhappy about the fact that the questions were too hard, and the contestants selected to be on the show simply didn't know any of the answers. So to avoid this, the production team decided to rig the show permanently, treating contestants as actors and telling them how to answer each question and how to act, essentially like a live play performance. The height of the controversy came when reigning champion Herb Stempel, who had been winning large numbers of games in a row, was deemed too unpopular, since the ratings had been steadily dropping each episode he was on the program, and so the show brought in a new frontrunner named Charles Van Doren, who was viewed as more likable. Van Doren would go on to beat Stempel and appear on the show for many more episodes to come, and the ratings were to stay high. However, Stempel later told about how he was told to miss certain questions on purpose, even those he knew, such as this one about one of his favorite movies.
What motion picture won the Academy Award for 1955?
Sure, it's not on the waterfront, but that's the only film I remember. I don't remember.
Van Doren would later confess in court that he had been told all of the answers before the shows aired. This scandal compromised the American public's trust in quiz shows and television as a whole, which took years to regain, and 21 was cancelled promptly in 1958. There was even a movie made about the scandal called Quiz Show, released in the 90s.